The past is a corpse, Holden, I said, my voice barely above a whisper, yet it seemed to echo off the velvet walls of the silent suite. It doesn't matter who killed it. It's still dead. I pulled my wrist firmly from his grasp. His fingers, slick with his own blood, left a grotesque, smeared handprint on the crisp white cuff of my server's uniform. He stared at the blood on my sleeve, his chest heaving, the realization of what Jen's words actually meant crashing over him like a tidal wave. 7 years ago, my father had suffered a massive stroke. The surgery required $50,000, a sum that felt astronomical to a 20-year-old college student whose family was already drowning in medical debt. I had called every relative, begged every friend. My final hope, my only lifeline, had been Holden. He had just received his first significant venture capital seed funding for his startup. It was exactly $50,000. I knew it was his dream. I knew it was his only shot at escaping the poverty that had defined both our lives. But it was my father's life. I had stood outside his apartment building in the torrential rain, sobbing into my phone as I sent that text, praying you would choose me. Drop dead. When those two words flashed on my cracked screen, something inside me shattered irreversibly. I didn't blame him for choosing his dream over my father, but the cruelty of the response, the absolute, callous dismissal of my agony, destroyed the girl who had loved him. My father died 2 days later. To pay for the funeral, and to keep my mother's dialysis treatments going, I dropped out of NYU. I took a job as a hostess at a high-end club, which is where Dean Kincaid, a notorious playboy, noticed me. The rumors started immediately. Holden, fueled by his own insecurities and the poison Jen had clearly been feeding him, believed I had traded his poverty for Kincaid's wealth. He never asked. He just left for Europe, taking his seed money and his broken heart, leaving me to suffocate under the weight of my reality. Your father. Holden choked out, the color draining completely from his face. Did he died, I said, the words falling flat and cold between us. It was a Tuesday. It was raining. A strangled sound tore from Holden's throat, a sound of pure, unadulterated agony. He staggered backward, his knees giving out as he collapsed onto the Persian rug he had just forced me to clean. He didn't care about the broken glass, or the blood, or the 20 pairs of eyes watching the billionaire titan crumble into a broken, sobbing mess. I didn't know. He wept, clutching his bleeding hand to his chest, his forehead resting against the edge of the overturned mahogany table. Scout, I swear to God, I didn't know. I never saw the text. I never sent that reply. Jen told me you left with Kincaid. She showed me pictures of you getting into his car. He was giving me a ride to the morgue. Holden, I stated, the exhaustion of carrying this truth for 7 years finally threatening to crack my composure. My father was in the back. But like I said, it doesn't matter anymore. I turned my attention to Jen. She was pressed as far back into the leather sofa as she could go, her face a mask of absolute terror. The alcohol had completely abandoned her, leaving only the stark realization of the monster she had unleashed. Jen, I said quietly, walking toward her. The crowd of alumni parted for me instinctively, stepping away from her as if she were radioactive. Scout, please, Jen whimpered, raising her hands in a pathetic gesture of defense. I was young. I was stupid. I just loved him so much, and you. You were holding him back. You didn't love him, I replied, my voice devoid of anger, which seemed to terrify her even more. You loved what you thought he could become. And you were willing to step over my father's corpse to get it. I leaned down, placing my hands on the armrests of her chair, trapping her. You thought you won, Jen. But look at him. I gestured to Holden, who was still kneeling on the floor, weeping uncontrollably. You didn't win a husband. You won a ghost. And now, you don't even have that. I stood up, adjusting my uniform jacket. Enjoy your engagement. I turned and walked toward the heavy double doors of the suite. Scout, wait! Holden scrambled to his feet, ignoring the blood dripping from his hand onto the expensive floor.